Welcome, it's Domain Dave from CheapWineFinder.com. Another companion wine review for a wine we wrote up on the CheapWineFinder.com website, like we've been doing since like forever. This is a Trader Joe's wine, a $6.99 Cabernet Franc of all things. What's it called? It's called the Lazy Bones Paso Robles Cabernet Franc 2020. And, you know, I kind of like this. The one thing about value-priced red wine is you don't see a lot of Cabernet Franc single varietal wines. I mean, you kind of get it in the upper end of wines, and because what it is, Cabernet Franc was originally a blending grape in Bordeaux. I mean, there's Merlot and Cabernet Sauvignon are the two main grapes. Those two dance around, and this is the third one. Petit Bordeaux's in there a little bit, Malbec's in there a little bit, Carmenère's in there a little bit on Bordeaux, but those are the three main wines. I'm going to take a sip. Here's a wine fun fact. If you cross Cabernet Franc and Sauvignon Blanc, you get Cabernet Sauvignon. That's Cabernet Franc and Sauvignon Blanc are the parents of this wine. It happened hundreds of years ago. And they are similar. I mean, Cabernet Franc and Cabernet Sauvignon are similar, but not all the way. It's got different tannin structures, a little bit different flavors. A lot of flavors are the same. This is a pretty wine. It's like a cherry red with black highlights. It sips well. It's got good body. It's got a nice mix of fruit-forward flavors and maybe a little bit of sour flavors that try to go together. They're kind of nice. In the Loire Valley, Chenin, everything's named after villages or areas in France. That's kind of like the Cabernet Franc single varietal capital of the world right there. But this one's fine. This used to be made by the Central Coast Wine Warehouse. I put a link to the 2013 vintage we put on the Cheap Wine Finder website. And then the back label said Central Coast Wine Warehouse, which at the time made about, I don't know, half of Trader Joe's exclusive wines. They were one of the first ones that were into making brand wines for people, making custom brand wines. And nowadays it says Miller Family Wine Company on the back, and it turns out the Miller Family Wine Company, they've been farming in California since 1871, and they've been in the vineyard business in Paso Robles since their 1971. So they're legit, but they own Central Coast Wine Warehouse. They're the Miller Family Wine Company is one of the first people to get involved in these and making wines for other people. So they know what they're doing, and so this is, I don't know much. They don't tell anything about the Lazy Bones, though it does have a very nice black and white aesthetic label. There's a nude lying on fancy bedspread with pillows. Looks like very 1917 kind of France kind of thing. Very arty and pretty cool label for a sub $10 wine. It's Cabernet Franc, which is a grape that you don't get if you're drinking value-priced wines as a single varietal. You see it all the time in blends, but so it's a change of pace wine, and since it's related to Cabernet Sauvignon, it's a wine that you kind of know already, and it's interesting. I mean, this wine isn't nothing that's good about it, because when I have a really inexpensive Cabernet Sauvignon, I kind of compare it to the more expensive Cabernet Sauvignons where there's more extraction, there's a more detailed oak program, where I don't really have a reference point for Cabernet Franc. I mean, I do drink Chenins every once in a while and what have you, but I'm kind of more open-minded, where often a very inexpensive Cabernet Sauvignon won't really measure up to, you know, not a super expensive one, but maybe a $18 to $25 one. I don't have any preconceived notions here. This tastes fine to me. Yeah, it really has a nice soft mouthfeel. It drinks great. For $7.99 for a red wine that is not the same old, but still a wine that you can understand immediately. That's a pretty nice price. And the bottle, if you bring it over to if you're having friends or having like a red wine tasting, you bring this one over, it's going to blend in with anything they bring, no matter what the price. And as a Cabernet Franc, again, like who knows Cabernet? Who's that? There's wine people are into that, but most casual wine drinkers are not going to be experts in Cabernet Franc. So it's a nice bottle. It tastes great. It's solid, good acidity. It's got length. It tastes great. There's a nice mix of flavors, soft mouthfeel. $7.99. Oh, and in New York, where Trader Joe's can't sell wine, this thing sells from $12 to $14. So if you think $7.99 is too cheap, well, you can always go to New York and pay some more than if you really need to. So that's it for me, Domain Dave from CheapWineFighter.com. Got more wines coming up like you always do. The weather's getting better, and we'll have more party wines of such, outside, sipping sharing with the neighbors, that type of thing, because we can actually do that again. So stay safe, stay cool. It's cold today. And I'll be talking to everybody pretty soon. So adios, keep it cheap, and bye-bye.